Hey guys, welcome back to the AWS Cloud Demos. So my name is Murali and I am a AWS Solution Architect. So in today's demo, we will look into creating a example OpenSearch instance in our AWS console, and we will try to integrate the OpenSearch data into a React based application, something like movies. So we will create this application and also type some movies data. So for example, if you type the movie name, you will be looking at the results from it. So what is OpenSearch and how we use it? So basically, OpenSearch is a distributed, a community driven 100% open source search and analytics suite used for a broad set of use cases like real-time application monitoring, log analytics, website search, and there's much more. Okay, OpenSearch provides a highly scalable system for providing a fast access and response to a large volumes of data with a integrated visualization tool. Okay, we will look into all these wonderful tools from the OpenSearch, and also why should you use OpenSearch? OpenSearch enables you to easily ingest, secure, search, aggregate. You can view and analyze data of a number of use cases such as log analytics, application search, enterprise search, and much more. Okay, so this is a very high level overview of what is a OpenSearch. So I have created this application which I will run. I will walk you through how we created this React application where we consume the OpenSearch APIs. So we will query the movie name, and then we will get the list of movies here in the React application. I have also created a Lambda, a basic Lambda, which will query the OpenSearch and get the movies data for us. Okay, I will walk you through what I'm doing here. Okay, and if you look into this is the React code. So basically, I have created a very simple React code where it will redirect. It will get the results basically from my API gateway. So basically this is an API gateway, and then we will look into how we create all this wonderful stuff. Okay, and before that, this is our flow diagram. So user searches for the movie, okay, and that request goes to the API gateway, and Lambda receives the request, and our Lambda will get results back from the OpenSearch and back to the API gateway and back to the user, right? So we will create three different pieces today. So first, let's focus on OpenSearch, and then we will create a Lambda, and then we will do a Lambda proxy integration with our API gateway, and we have our React app at the user end, right? So we will begin with the OpenSearch first, and we will create OpenSearch, and let's see how we will create it. Okay, so if you are not logged in into AWS console, please go to aws.amazon.com and log into your console. Okay, and then type OpenSearch here in the search bar. Open the Amazon OpenSearch service. Okay, so I do not have anything yet for now. So what I'm going to do is click on this create domain. Now in the domain name, so I can create something like movies. I don't want to enable any custom endpoint at the moment, so I'm just doing it for testing and development. So I'm going to choose the development option here and testing, and choose whatever the latest it is. For me it is 2.3 latest. And if you scroll down, you should be able to see something called the data nodes, and just select one AZ because this is just on a free tier, so don't use three AZs which can incur costs. So do not use three AZ, just use one availability zone. And coming to the instance type, because you need to make sure that with the free tier, right, you can choose the T3 series small search instance, which should be fine for you. And number of nodes, just remove 3 and just put 1, and do not use anything more than 1. Okay, if you are using in a free environment. Okay, this is for demo purpose, and you can use the respective instance type if you think your application needs much more bigger instance, right? So you can choose whatever from the list, depends on these available options over here. So I'm going to choose general purpose, which is T3 small search. Just select that and scroll down, select number of nodes 1, and then scroll down. This looks good, and scroll down all the way at the bottom, and then choose the public access. Enable the public access, and also make sure that you enable the fine-grained control access, because fine-grained access control provides a numerous features to help you keep your data secure. Okay, so you will be choosing a master user. Okay, just choose something that makes sense to you. For in my case, I'm going to choose master username admin and password as password 123. All right. Okay, so I think I need to choose a uppercase. All right, I've given my password, and then if I scroll all the way to the bottom, everything looks good. So leave these default options. Okay, you have enabled fine-grained control, access control, and SAML authentication. You do not need to worry about it at the moment. So basically, this is providing the SAML authentication for your OpenSearch dashboards or Kibana, right? So you do not worry about it right now, but we can look into more advanced examples for the OpenSearch going forward. But for this demo, let's stick with this create master user and fine-grained control access, and you have master password. Set the master password and username so that we will use it to connect to the OpenSearch to query the data, movies data, right? Now go ahead all the way to the bottom and click on create. So now that we have started creating the OpenSearch domain, right, while it's being created, it will take about 15 minutes for us to get back to the OpenSearch service. So I will see you guys in 15 minutes.
A few moments later.
Hey, so we have finally created our OpenSearch service dashboard. So if you click on these links, right, so once your cluster health is green, so you will see something like this. So once you're done with creating a domain, so you will have to go and open up the OpenSearch dashboard URL like you see here. So if I click on it, it opens in a new tab. Looks like it's still not up and running. Maybe give it a minute or so. Let's go back to the domains. Hope it is created. That's great. Click on the movies. Click on OpenSearch dashboard URL again, and let's see if this is working. Nope, it's still not working. So give it a couple of minutes. So in order to resolve this bug, right, click on the actions drop down over here and click on edit security configuration. So you should be able to see something down below the access policy. So if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can see something like this. Make sure you put your AWS principal and click on save changes like so. It can take up to a minute to finish the updates. Okay, looks like it completed the change. Refresh the page. Looks like everything is green, and go ahead and click on this dashboards link again. So there you go. Now it loads the OpenSearch dashboard, so you can look at it. And what we can do now is, now we have created the OpenSearch console, and now we have everything ready. The OpenSearch instance is also ready. So what we can do is go ahead into your console again and click on cluster health. Do you have access? Nope. So what you can do is go ahead and add this particular ARN, okay, and go to your OpenSearch, click on the hamburger menu, go to security and click on roles on the left side and go to full access and click on mapped users. We're just setting the permissions, right? So just want to make sure that yeah, you get the right access to the correct users, and go ahead and paste that in the users, and also the backend role, just copy and paste it. And now click on map. You should be able to give the access. Now the all access is successfully updated, and go back to the console. Alright, click on the cluster health again, or maybe navigate away. So there you go. Now you can see the cluster health status as well, right? Now that error is gone because we have given the permissions to to see the summary, right? And click on instance health. Also this works fine. Auto tune, you can see all these data right now, right, because we have given the permissions and security. All right, so this, I think the settings are fine for now in the movies OpenSearch database. Now in the OpenSearch, right, if you go back to the burger hamburger menu, click on stack management right here. So now that we need to go ahead and push some data into the AWS OpenSearch, right? I have created the data over here, which is bulk movies.json. So I'm going to give this link to the video, right? So this is a bulk data, movies data, where you want to push this data to the OpenSearch and then search on this data, right? So what I can do is I'm going to get my terminal window, and then I have already downloaded to my downloads directory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a couple of commands in order to push this data into my OpenSearch instance. Okay, so for that I have also created another file called CLI commands.sh, which is inside the OpenSearch. So for now, to post the data, right, what you can do is you just copy this command, all right, and go to your downloads, just paste this command, all right, and change the username and password fields that you see it here. Okay, looks like something's weird. And now click on the username password like so. And now I'm going to enter my username and password, admin. I think I put something like password at 123, and then you have to replace your OpenSearch domain as well. So just remove this bit, OpenSearch domain, and we will have to copy it from the OpenSearch instance. So you can find it here. This is our domain endpoint. Copy this, go back to your CLI commands or maybe in your terminal and paste this URL. Alright, just make sure that you remove this double slash over here. Now you're trying to post you're authenticating with admin, your username and password. This is my domain, OpenSearch domain, and then you have to put something like _ bulk after that, because you need to, this is the API that OpenSearch provides so that you can post your data to the OpenSearch. Okay, and now you can see the data flag here, dash dash data, and then you have at bulk movies.json. Make sure it is inside the download folders. I have already downloaded the bulk movies.json from my from here, and I will link all these links into the demo, into the video. And now that you have added the bulk movies JSON, after you have downloaded the bulk movies.json, you need to run this command to push your data into the OpenSearch, right? So just hit enter once you are happy with this URL, once you're happy with this post request. So hit enter. So it will take 2 or 3 minutes. Maybe something is wrong there. Maybe I have entered my password incorrect. I don't know. I'm gonna change it and try it. Maybe try with this. Okay, something is wrong. That is something weird. Alright, so let's try one more time. So I have updated my username and password. I'm gonna try one more time. So I haven't made any changes to this. It's just the password that was incorrect previously, so I have corrected it, and the URL remains the same. And also the bulk movies JSON, make sure it's in your downloads folder. Yeah, and before you run this command, so go ahead and run the command and let's see. Okay, there you go. We have inserted a bunch of data into the our OpenSearch database, right? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and copy the other one, which is this command, this URL. Copy this, and let's go back to the console here. Okay, clear this out, just paste it. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are going to query the OpenSearch. Okay, so we are going to get the data and we are going to search in the OpenSearch, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm just issuing a request from here, and I'm going to use my username and password. All right, I hope I have entered my password correctly, and I have to replace my OpenSearch domain. So remove this OpenSearch domain here, and we will copy the URL from our console. Copy this. This is our domain endpoint. Copy the link and go ahead and open up your console again. Paste the link and make sure you do not end up with double slashes right here. Okay, so now that we have created our get request, right, we are sending it by using our admin use username password, and then we have your search movies OpenSearch domain, and then we have to add something like /movies/_search. This will give us the access to the underlying data, and I'm going to search for the data which is called hero, or you can write any movie name. Like in my case, I want to do something like love, and then I want to search for a movie called Love, and I want to search with the entire database, right? So that you can see the list of movies that are that ends with or starts with or contains the keyword love. All right, go ahead and click on enter. Right, so we have received some data. Okay, all this data is coming from the OpenSearch, and we can see this data. You can see the movie names here, like for example the title, and it depends on where you're searching, because you can I will show you shortly in the OpenSearch dashboard, right? You can see we need to index this data so that you will see there are number of fields that are searchable. Okay, so you can even search for actors, like actors, year, or you can even search for title, the plot, and also the release date. You can search for a whole bunch of things. Okay, pretty much all these fields are searchable in the OpenSearch, so that's the beauty of it, right? So as you can see, the whatever the movie's data which ends with, starts with, or director names, or titles that contains the love keyword, you have got all the data back from the open search. So now that we are able to retrieve data from our OpenSearch, so what we're going to do is go back to the console again and open up the OpenSearch dashboard here, right? And if you go to the hamburger menu, click on the hamburger menu and go to stack management, you will see something, a page called stack management, and go to index patterns right here. Click on the index patterns. You will see a okay, so it is asking me for a login password 123. So don't worry, I'm gonna delete this OpenSearch instance. For now, you just follow this thing, right? All right, so to show you again, click on the hamburger menu and click on the stack management, and you will be on this page, and click on index patterns, right? So this is where you're going to create an index pattern for the data that we have just pushed into the open search, right? So click on, make sure you are on the index patterns, and click on create index pattern. So this is where you're going to go and type the index patterns called movies, and the movies is matched. Now click on next step, and then here time field, I think you can leave it for now, or maybe select the release date and click on create index pattern. So it's going to create the index pattern, and you can see this is the data that we have right now, right? And we have the searchable keyword here. Pretty much all these fields are searchable. You can search for title, rank, rating, you can search for keyword, you can search for year. There are a bunch of things that you can search. There are 26 fields totally, right? And go ahead once you are in this page, and now you have already created this movies index, correct? So if you go back to the hamburger menu again and click on discover on the left side, okay, so now that make sure you select this open source movies, right? And once you select the movies, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to search for the I'm going to do a quick search, like, okay, so we'll search for love. So we don't see anything, and maybe you need to expand the time. Okay, so for this, what I'm going to do is click on the calendar here, and you should be able to select the calendar. I'm just looking at where I can select it, but give me a second. There you go. I think we can already see this, right? I've selected February 1st 2009, and I'm searching for love. you can see all the occurrences of love here, right? This is all the movies data, and you can see the title, crazy kind of love movie, and the description, plot is description, you have love in it. There's a bunch of data which has um, the keyword love in it, correct? You can see a whole bunch of data returned, and obviously you can go ahead and search for another keyword, something called hero. And you can see, there's a bunch of data that match the keyword hero, and you can see the data which is returned, and you can see the number of hits that are being made on a particular date, like date and time within the time span, right? So I hope you understand what's OpenSearch is doing here. And you can also filter by type. For example, you can see the image URL, or the top 5 values are these images, and you can see the ranks. These are you can also visualize this with a nice graph data, and you can see the plotted below this nice graph, right? And you can create your own graph, and you can compare and you can analyze the data that you have, right? If I go back and click on something called, maybe, let's see, title, what do we get? Astro Boy, which is 6.7%. Or maybe you can play around with this data. So the whole point of this demo is to integrate this data into our React application, and we will consume this data from the OpenSearch into the React application, where we will be searching for the movie, and we will display the list of movies. All right, so now that you have created successfully the OpenSearch, and you have pushed a sample movies data into it, you are able to query the data, and everything is ready from open source side of things. Now if you go back to the console, right, again go back to the console and go to Lambda. So now let's go ahead and create a Lambda which will talk to OpenSearch and get the query the data basically from the movies data. So once you're in the AWS Lambda, click on create function. So let's name this function search movies. All right, so I'm going to use Python 3.7, and then I'm going to use just choose the default role, it will create on its own, so I'm not doing anything there, and click on create function, like so. So once you are in the code, right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the code from here, which is searchmovies.py. This is my function. Copy the whole code that you have and go back to the console, where you can see your Lambda handler. Just remove all of this and put your own Lambda function and maximize this window. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is first thing you have to do is go ahead and replace this host name with your host. So for example, I'm going to open my OpenSearch again. I think I've closed it, and open that in a new window, or maybe new tab, and click on one and click on movies, and just copy your domain again. And if you come back to your Lambda, in the host, right, just replace the OpenSearch instance that you have created, and you should be fine, and remove the trailing slash. Okay, this looks good, and make sure you have your region correct. I think I have created in EU West 2. I'm sure it's London. And then this is your index, which is movies, and make sure if you have given a separate index, then you have to put the correct index, right? And this is the URL which contains the host and the index and then the search. Alright, this looks correct to me. And if you scroll to the bottom, so this is our Lambda handler. We are just preparing a query, and we are making a query to the OpenSearch. Okay, and we will receive a query parameter, string query parameter, which is called q. I will show you shortly how I'm going to use it. And this is the field that I'm going to search in my OpenSearch. So I'm going to only search for title, but remember you can also search for different fields, but I only want to look into title at the moment, so I just put title here, but you can add anything because this is an array. You can put anything that you want. All right, and now if I scroll down, you are requesting the sign request, because it basically what it does is it gets the temporary credentials, and it makes a request to the service, which is in our case Elasticsearch ES, obviously OpenSearch. And now it makes a request using this creds is nothing but the credentials which you get, a temporary credentials to authenticate your OpenSearch instance, and then you query the data. Okay, that's all it is. It is pretty simple. It is very straightforward. There is nothing major going on in this Lambda function. So once you're happy, go ahead and deploy this. Click on deploy, and now you have deployed it. What you can do is you can click on the drop down and configure test event. You can create a search event name called search movies. Okay, and now click on this drop down and click on AWS API proxy gateway, and if you scroll down, you should be able to send a query string parameter. So make sure you have this query string parameters and just say Q, and I'm going to search for a movie which contains a keyword love, or maybe you can try something on your own. I'm gonna search for God. If I scroll down and then click on save, like so. So once you have created your test event, right, and now you can go ahead and click on test. Let's see how it works. All right, okay, there you go. So you have some error at the moment, which is telling you that there is no permissions, okay, for the data read, search, and for this particular role, correct? So there is no it is not allowed for this particular ARN, correct? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, you remember, right, like in our OpenSearch we have mapped the user. So I'm going to map this ARN to the open source so that we won't see this error. Okay, and also this is enabled for backend role as well. This is enabled for user and a backend role. So we're gonna create the mapping. We will allow the access, right, for this particular resource. Okay, go to your OpenSearch again and click on the hamburger, click on security, click on rules, and all access, mapped users, and now I'm going to manage mapping. I'm going to paste this one over here. This is my role. Remember, we have copied it from there, and also here. Maybe I have to put something like, maybe I'll just put this one instead of the admin. Now I think it looks fine. Just click on map. So now that we have given permission to this particular role as well, right? So now the role is updated. Now go back to the Lambda function and let's see if this thing works. Alright, just close the execution result, and you don't need to do anything on the Lambda side. Just go ahead and click on test. You get the result as 200, and also you can see the data, right? So successful 5. Alright, so you got the data back from the OpenSearch into your Lambda. You can see all the data which is returning nicely. Okay, so now that your Lambda is ready, alright, so if you want, you can copy it from this code. I will give all these links to the in the description box below. And if you like this video, please don't forget to share, subscribe. Okay, please like this video. I'm gonna make more exciting videos because I'm trying to find unique content for my channel, and I'm trying to create some unique content. All right, so you have given all the permissions. Now that your Lambda is working as expected, which is great. And now it is time for us to go back to our diagram, so where we have said that we will create OpenSearch, and then we have created our Lambda, and now we will create our API gateway. Okay, so that we can do the Lambda integration. All right, so if I go to my Lambda, and let's open the API gateway from here. I have these shortcuts. If you want, you can use it. I keep saying this in every video that I have. Now open that in a link, new tab. So I'm in the API gateway, and go ahead and find the REST API. This is what I want to create. I don't want to create any private APIs, but I want to create the REST API. Right now, go ahead and click on build. We are creating our API. Create new API. This is going to be OpenSearch API. and I'm going to say this is leave this as regional and click on create API. So it's going to create an API for me. So and I'm going to create click on drop actions drop down, create a method called get, and click on this little tick. You can see this is the Lambda integration. This is my region, which is EU West 2, and I'm gonna do so we have named something called search movies. That's it, and click on save and click on OK. Alright, now that we have created our API, and what I'm going to do is the integration request is also Lambda function, use Lambda proxy integration, and click OK and click OK. So now that it converts into a Lambda proxy integration, and then you can see go back to the method execution. So now you can go ahead and also make sure that you enable the CORS as well, because we will be making requests from our React application. And click on, so I think I was too quick, so I'm going to try show you again. So on the get, click on the drop down actions, enable the CORS, and now click on this button, and yes, replace existing values. Yes, so now that it has created, it added all these cross origin headers to my API gateway. Now click on get. So we have also integrated with our Lambda. So now go ahead and click on test. Okay. So you have to give, okay, go back to the method execution, method request, and now URL query strings, add a query string which is called q, because that's what we have created, and make sure it is required. Alright, and go back to the method execution, and you can also now go ahead and click on q. Alright, so there you go, you have your query strings now, and click on q, and you need to enter q, because this is what we are going to give as a query string. So now q equals, I want to search for hero, and click on test. There you go, you have got data back from your AWS OpenSearch via Lambda proxy integration, and now you can also search for some of the keywords like he. You can see if there is any movie which contains a word he in the title, and also you can search for something like any movie that you can think of. I want to search for Titanic, and let's test it. Let's see, we get the data back. There you go, we have James Cameron here, and we have the image URL, and also I'm just looking for the title. Yeah, there you go, this is the title. You can see we got the Titanic back. So now you are ready with your API integration as well. So now it is time to deploy your API. Now click on drop down of actions and deploy the API. So I'm gonna choose a new stage from here, and I'm gonna enter a name OpenSearch movies, and click on deploy. Alright, so now you have deployed your API. Now go ahead and copy this URL, and now you're ready to go to your React application, and then we will try and run the API and search the movies from our React application. Okay, so this is an example application that I've created, which is in my code sandbox, but I'm going to share this link too, so that you can download and run this React application. Alright, now just replace this URL that I've created previously. Just replace this URL and put the URL whatever you have created just now. Alright, and there you go, now you have created, and click on save. If I drag this a bit, and let's go ahead and open up in a new tab. So this is my new application, right? I've clicked on open in a new window icon here, and it opened for me in a new window. So now open up, now you start searching for the movies. For example, I want to search for Titanic. See, there you go, you got the result back, and you search for hero. So there you go, you're getting all the movie names which contains these text that we have just searched for. And also you can search for something called God. So you get all the results, right? You get the idea, and you can see all the movies data that we are getting it back from the OpenSearch from our Lambda integration and with the API gateway like we have shown in the diagram. This is a React based application. Alright, but you can also try it with any other JavaScript libraries or frameworks that you're using. It could be Vue.js, it could be Next.js, or even it could be a JSPs, or any sort of application. It's just an API. Like you can use it everywhere and search for the movies. And the power of OpenSearch is there's a whole bunch of data that you can index and you can search, and it has the power of indexing that it can index pretty much all the fields. Like imagine if you are creating an e-commerce application and you have tons of products and you want to search for the product, right? So you do not need to worry about how you do that, because OpenSearch, Elasticsearch all does for you, because it's just search millions of products. It gives a very millisecond response. Like you can see when I type something like maybe I'll just type like, so you can see how quick the results was, right? Like this was pretty quick. I'm using a single node and only one AZ. Imagine the power of OpenSearch with a huge data with multiple AZs, multiple nodes that are being deployed, and you have a whole bunch of computing power for your OpenSearch, and then you will see the results much more quicker than this. And I hope you have liked this video, and if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, and I'm gonna do more videos like this, and I will try and put unique content into my channel. And one more thing is, before we close this the demo, if you do not use the OpenSearch or anything, so you can go ahead and into your OpenSearch demo, OpenSearch domain, and click on this delete once you're done with your example application, right? So that you don't end up anything weird or anything weird builds. Okay, so just make sure we have created a free tier, but I want to make sure just delete it. If you're not using it, just delete these resources so that you don't worry about anything, any surprising builds on your account, right? Okay, so thank you so much. Please like this video, share this video with your friends, and play around with these with the example app. And I hope you had fun, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.